January is often considered like a dump month for studios. They just kind of throw whatever trash they got left over into theaters, with January horror particularly having a reputation of being downright terrible. I mean, who can forget such great January horror classics like Night Swim and The Bye-Bye Man? Aren't they both great? So I was expecting Primate to be along those lines of just terrible nonsense January horror releases, so I'm very happy to report that I was wrong. This movie, shockingly, isn't terrible. Dare I say, I'm bananas for Primate. I'm not, but I could be. This film follows a girl named Lucy who returns home from college and reunites with her family, which includes her pet chimp, Ben. Ben later somehow contracts rabies and begins to terrorize Lucy and her friends and her family. This is literally a slasher film, but with a chimp. Okay, it follows almost all of Randy Meeks' rules of a slasher film. If me saying a slasher film but with a chimp sounds fun to you, you're gonna have a blast with this. They even gave the chimp like an evil laugh too, like a little chuckle. It knows what kind of movie it is. It does take the horror and the situation very seriously, but it still is camp to a certain extent. And if you're one of those people who gets annoyed when characters make dumb decisions in horror films, I can confidently say that for 95% of this thing, our characters are actually making somewhat smart decisions. There are some really dumb choices, of course, but for the most part, our heroes are competent. So there you go. And while we're on the subject of our characters, there's not much to say about them. They have about as much depth as a kiddie pool, and it's clear from the get-go that these are all characters who are just cannon fodder, just waiting to be killed. They don't make them unlikable, but you don't exactly care about them either. The best character in the film is the chimp, Ben. With a budget of $24 million, I can't imagine that Ben was entirely CGI. Like, I think he's at least partially a guy in a costume, right? But the performance is so realistic. You think you're just watching an actual chimp on screen. I gotta give a shout out to Miguel Torres Umba. I think that's how you pronounce your name. He is listed on IMDb and Wikipedia as the performance guy for Ben. I want to know how much of it was him in a suit and how much of it was CG. If any of it was CG, I'm very curious. But this is exactly the type of film you think it would be, like I said earlier. I mean, it's not particularly scary. The scariest part of it is just the fact that chimps themselves are inherently terrifying. This film relies entirely on jump scares. It's all surface level horror. It's just boo, ah, that's all it is. Like, there's nothing that's gonna get under your skin and just really creep you out. Like, I don't think you're gonna have nightmares about a killer chimp after this, but what you might have nightmares about are some of the effects, because holy fucking shit, they are gnarly. This film has some insane, gory practical effects, and when I say gory, I mean, it gets really insane with some of these kills. This film does not hold back. I only wish I could fucking see them, because unfortunately, this film falls victim to the trap that a lot of films fall into nowadays, where they are striving for ultimate realism, especially during these nighttime scenes, to the point where the film is so dark and so dimly lit, you can barely see anything. I legit thought at one point during the opening scene that the projector had somehow turned off. The screen was just that dark. You're supposed to have in this moment a faint glow of a character's eyes, and in my screening you could just barely see it. It was so dim, and I hope it was just my showing and that's not how the film is supposed to look. And most of the film is about that dim because a lot of this takes place at night, so it made it really hard to see some of the kills, which is a shame because from what I could see of them, they're great. I could tell they spent a lot of time on these effects. I just wish the film had a gaffer or something, some proper lighting, so I could fully witness the gore and the carnage and the chaos. But while the film itself is difficult to see, the camera work in this is actually surprisingly dynamic. Like, there's one point where a character gets drunk and the camera goes handheld and it moves in a way where it looks like it's drunk too. There's a part where we are in the chimp's POV in a scene that is quite reminiscent of the opening of Halloween. It's fun to see they were actually having fun with the camera and making it a part of the story. Even the sound design was pretty great. I mean, all of the kills were pretty gross and squishy, as you would expect, but there's also a scene where we follow a character who's deaf, and so all of the sound is muffled. It does a great job of putting you in our character's shoes. But my biggest gripe with the film is that it says it takes place in Hawaii, and it's clear to me the second they landed in that airport that this was not Hawaii. I don't know where the fuck you filmed this, but it's not where you think it is. I don't like being that guy, okay? I don't like doing the cinema sins nitpicky stuff. But it's, even the film just itself, even down to the synopsis, screams, I'm not a native Hawaiian making this movie. Like, if you ask anyone here, do you guys have rabies? They'll tell you, no, go home. We don't have rabies in Hawaii. We haven't had a rabies case in 30 years. And they do address it in the movie in a scene that is so obviously a reshoot. It feels so tacked on, but it's clear they got a note from some test screening from someone who said, hey, Hawaii doesn't have rabies, you need to address that. So they wrote this bullshit scene where a character goes, oh, Hawaii isn't supposed to have rabies, and then they just move on and they never address it again. This is such a small thing to get hung up on, and I'm not like actually upset at the film for it. Like, it's not a big deal, I can let it go. But it just stood out like a sore thumb to me the whole time. It took me out just a little bit. But overall, Primate is a fun, albeit very unrealistic horror film. It's also a short watch. I think it's under an hour and a half. So if you're in the mood for something short, quick, kind of fun, you want it to be horror as well, you could do much worse than Primate. I said that in a really weird way, but we'll roll with it. I'm shocked I had this much fun watching it, and I think you will too. It's a pretty good time. Anyways, what did you guys think of Primate? Did you guys watch it? Did you guys like it? Let me know down in the comments below. I'd love to know your thoughts on it. This is my 5th time recording this. I hope it works out. My voice is going to be destroyed tomorrow, and I will see you in the next one. Long live cinema.